Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name's Grafton Roll, and I'm with the Chaos Gym, and today I'm going to be going over the deck that I played at the Philadelphia Regionals, which was Carbink Zygarde. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. I think Rahul summed it up pretty well, how the tournament kind of went in his rant video. I agree with a lot of things that he said, uh, but I think it's important not to, like, jump down anybody's throat in the whole situation. It's just, you know, I don't really know what it takes to be a tournament organizer, but I'm sure it puts a lot of stress on them, and mistakes happen. Some of the ones at this tournament was a little unexcusable, but it goes on. If they're doing it again next year, let's hope that they do it better. If they're not, well, I guess we all know the reason why. So, for the tournament, I ended up going 6-3, losing in my winning end. 2 Groudon, and it was pretty disappointing. Lost to some bad prizes, and I think maybe a miscalculation on my hand. And eventually I just ended up losing to the clock, because that's how Groudon works. So, but overall for the day, the deck ran super well. Didn't really have bad draws to lose games. It pretty much went that I went into the tournament with the mindset this deck should beat everything expanded that isn't Rainbow Road. And when I was sitting at 5-2, my 2 losses were to Rainbow Road. Actually, when I was sitting at 6-2, my 2 losses were to Rainbow Road. So I think for what I expected the deck to do, it did exactly what I wanted it to. So I'll go ahead and hop into it. And yeah, going 6-3, I didn't make day 2, obviously. I had to win the last round. I ended up actually getting 63rd, so I got the 24 points and the 18 packs, which was super cool, but making day 2 would have been a lot of fun. Also, the meta was perfect. I got to that 3-0 and then lost to Rainbow Road, but if I would have ended up winning that game, which I almost did, I was in a sea of rails. Not rails. Rails. Yeah. And this deck, you don't even have to think in that matchup. You just get up, you swing, they die, you win the game. So we almost made it to the nirvana of good matchups there, but just a little bit off. So I'll go ahead and go into the deck profile. So, started off, gotta have the Bailout Shaman. This card's really good because in this deck you like play the 5 draw supporters and the 2 battle compressors, but your big supporter is obviously Karina. And to be able to Karina for an Ultra Ball, use the Ultra Ball, discard your hand, get the Shaman, maybe draw into something, for a VS Seeker target or whatever, even though you could just battle compressor it with the Karina. It's just having this Shaman is really, really necessary. I can't stress it enough. If you play this deck, you are going to draw a bad hand every once in a while, but having this Shaman makes that such an unlikely scenario that you can't get out of it. Going from Shaman comes to the bread and butter of the deck, a 3-2 Carbink line. I played this deck at Nationals with a 4-2 Carbink line, and I actually regret not playing a 4-2. A 4-2 would have sealed me into day 2, but I'll get to the actual specific matchups later. Carbink is one of the dirtiest Pokemon I think they've printed in a long time. One, he has a huge HP pool for a Pokemon. On top of that, he has Safeguard. So for a basic with Safeguard to have 90 HP, 1 retreat, and his attack is rather mediocre until you remember that he's fighting and you can attach Strongs to do more damage, this card's ridiculous. Not only did they print this card, but they gave him a break, which has to be in the top 5 breaks ever made so far, at least. Probably top 3. Gives him 20 more HP, 1 energy, 20 damage, attach 2 energy cards from your discard pile to one of your fighting Pokemon. Now, a lot of people don't understand that you can actually attach it to him. It's any Pokemon in play, not a bench Pokemon, any fighting Pokemon in play. Not only is it any fighting Pokemon in play, but you can also get Strongs back because it's not basic energy cards, it's any energy cards. And if you want to go the step further and play special attacks, you can play Rainbows with it, DCEs, any type of energies. And remember, it's 1 for 20, but when you get that Strong, a Regirock, a Muscle Band, this little guy can start hitting pretty hard when you're hiding behind a Safeguard. Next, Landers. Nationals, I played Lucario instead. They're both really good. Landers is a little bit better in a couple matchups. You know, he can kill the Joltix on the bench, and he can put 1 damage on Groudon, even though that didn't really matter anymore because I took out the Power Word memory. But I think Landorus was the better call for this tournament. I can't really say if Lucario would have been better. I don't think so. I think Landorus did what he needed to do. Also, the water weakness. Um, the Lucario having psychic weakness is a lot worse than this guy having water weakness. Regirock. Oh. The attacks of your fighting Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Wow. So one, this guy's nickname is Dwayne. He's Dwayne the Regirock Johnson. And I have to say, I wish I played more of this guy. Holy moly, I tested this guy, but when I was actually at the tournament, this card won me so many games. It was actually crazy. And his attack is good too, because you Carbink 2 energies to it, and you can go up there, pretty much hit 140 and reduce 20 damage. This card, ridiculously good. That 10 damage is so crucial. Like, you saw it with Plasma with Deoxys, but this guy, I can't believe how good he was the entire weekend. Could not believe it. And then finally, the main card of the deck, Zygarde. The second half of the Carbink and Carbink Zygarde. 3 great attacks, 1 for 40, but with a strong it turns into 60, Fighting Stadium 80, Regirock 90, always caught people off guard. Nobody expected it to do that much damage. Cellstorm, this is how you beat Trevenant. You just get a Zygarde and a bunch of energies, you hit them for like 60, minus 20 obviously, but a strong back to 60, and you just kind of 2-shot them, heal the damage they do to you, and then lands Rat, 3 for 100, boost it up some, you know, you're pretty much going to be 2-shotting things and relying on his huge HP pool to not get 1 hit. And that's where your problems come with Rainbow Road. But that's why you can also play some Focus Sash. I really like this card. I like this card since it came out. That's why I played at Nationals. I was happy to play it at Philly again. It's not slow and methodical. You don't have to do that much thinking. You just get up and you beat people to death. And that's all that I really look for in a solid deck to take to a tournament where no one knows what the meta is going to be. So that's Pokemon only 11, pretty simple, nothing out of the ordinary really in this list. Again, wish I played a 4th Carbink, wish I had another Regirock, but there's not really room in this deck for that kind of stuff. You need to play a lot of utility stuff. We'll get into trainers. This is where the big, like, curve change from Nationals. The other big change from Nationals is I was playing a Garbodor line. I took the Garbodor line out. I'll explain that later. Okay, 2 battle compressors. I was pretty set on 1 for a while, but then this card just is so important with how many utility supporters you're playing that you need to play 2 of them. It's disappointing because having that spot is really nice, but being able to discard the strongs for Carbink and everything, playing multiple of this card, you can't afford to let it be priced. 1 dowsing machine. Big decisions. You know, there's a lot of them that you can go with. Gold Potion is good because you can heal like all the damage they do between that and Cellstorm. Comp Search is good for setup. Comp Search is always good. Scramble Switch is good in the deck because, you know, Zygarde 3 energies switches out to another Zygarde with 3 energies. You're not normally getting 1 hit. But I went Dowsing Machine, and that's just because I'm playing so many one-of trainers that being able to play the second of the one-of trainers is really nice, and that pretty much goes straight to me playing Enhanced Hammer. So, 1 Enhanced Hammer, a lot of Pokemon are using special energies, you know, it's a problem when they get 1 Evital and attach a lot of DCs to it, so to be able to, like, stunt them 1 turn, it's pretty important. So, this card saw a lot of play. I wouldn't recommend putting another one in. 1 seemed just about right, because remember, you can search for it with Karina. 1 Escape Rope. Switch cards are crucial in this deck. Regirock has 3 retreat, Landers has 3 retreat, Zygarde has 3 retreat, Carbink is actually pretty lightweight for some reason. I don't know, he's a rock. I don't know. But being able to switch is super important in this deck, and you'll see that in the rest of my choices of the deck as well. 1 Professor Letter. 11 energies in the deck, 7 are basic energies. For some reason, you can never find energies. Now, I know a lot of turns, turn 1, you'll Battle Compressor away like too strong, so Carbink can get them later. but for some reason you still have a huge issue finding finding energies. So being able to Karina for a Professor Letter to get 2 basic energies pretty much sets you up for those first couple turns, even though you want to be attaching Strongs. Starting the Megaphone. Did it see much play? Maybe? I played it. Did it really win me games? Probably not. You know, in the Evital matchup, discarding the FFBs is really important, but, other than that, most matchups you're going to be two-shotting things anyways. I think I played against a Monetric deck and took off his Spirit Link because he attached it turn 1, but, it's Monetric. You don't need it to beat that deck. You're not really... I didn't play against, a single Garb deck the entire time. It was so weird. Not playing against a single Garb deck after playing Standard. So, Megaphone, not the most important card. I think it's still worth the spot just for the Evital matchup, but debatable. Super Rod, very important card. Being able to get your Carbinks back, be able to get the Landorus or the Shaman back if you discard it early because you don't really want those cards in your hand a lot of the times. Being able to get some basic energies back so you can actually attach for your turn instead of only relying on Carbink. Card's pretty important. I think earned its spot in the deck. 1 Trainer's Mail. This was a weird play. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in the tournament that was playing a Trainer's Mail and only 1 Trainer's Mail. You know, I don't see anybody go under 2. Most people don't go under 3 if they're going to go in and put this card in the deck. I have to say, 1 Trainer's Mail was pretty nice. It kind of just helped thin out the deck. I really don't think I would have wanted a different card because I needed, more utility setup, but I couldn't afford playing another supporter because then the deck gets a little slow. Being able to play the Trainer's Mail and find the Enhance Hammer and then Karina for something else, it was a high chance of hitting, because when you Karina there's always 4 cards that you might want to get. So being able to Trainer's Mail for one of them and then you can Karina and you only have 3 options that you need is good. 1 was good. I took the other one out for a Battle Compressor. I love the second Battle Compressor. The 1 Trainer's Mail was really clutch. I don't know. With more testing, could I have found a better spot for it? Maybe, but Trainer's Mail was good. 2 Ultra Ball, standard. A lot of people say, why do you even play Ultra Ball? You should play other balls, like Heavy Balls, get these guys. Why discard cards? It's simply for Shaman. It's for the bailout Shaman, honestly. But they're good. Being able to discard the energies is nice too, but not super important. 4 VS Seekers, you're playing so many supporters in this deck. This is a super heavy supporter deck. You just have to. 2 Hex Maniac. I took out the Garb line for this, and I have to say I didn't miss the Garb. I didn't play against Greninja deck, so I can't really say or a Metal deck, which was 2 big decks. Well, not big, but decks I was worried at Nationals, and that's why I was playing Garb. 2 Hex was effective, though. Did its job. Excuse me. 1 Karen, because I was afraid of Night March. Didn't play a Night March deck. I did not play the card 1 time, I don't think. Not a single time did I play this card. I think I played it 1 time, actually, because I was just not going to play a supporter, and then I could play it, but give him, a Shaman, but all of his, maxi targets back, so I just played it. But it didn't do anything for me. This card, honestly, was the most useless card in the deck, but if I played against a Night March or Vespi Queen deck, I would have a different story. So, if you're not going to hit those matchups, don't play it. If you are, play it. 4 Karina, best card in the deck, by far. This is the reason why you can't play Zygarde in Standard, is because this card doesn't exist. Search your deck for a fighting Pokemon. All of these Pokemon are fighting. Search your deck for a trainer. You run a lot of trainers. A lot of trainers. 1 Lysander, standard. Some people don't go under 2 Lysander for whatever reason. I never really believed it. If you're Lysander's prize, that's just super unfortunate. I hope that you can just kill some active stuff, which is what this deck is pretty good at. So, 3 in. Just playing in. I don't know, you have to play a certain amount of ins and Sycamores. That's just how this game is right now. So, 3 in, 2 Sycamore. Standard stuff, just draw staples. 1 Olympia. This card was so good. This card was so good. Oh my gosh. I actually tested between this and AZ a lot. I like Olympia. I like Olympia so much more. Oh my gosh. Not having to discard those energies. I played this card so many times. There's one game against Finnegan Lynch where he Fright Knighted my Regirock twice, and I actually retreated into Regirock, used Olympia, healed 30 off of it, came out, killed his guy, and then so his other Fright Knighter couldn't kill my Regirock on the bench, but it ended up winning in the game. Such a good card. Now, I could have PCL'd that game, but it was priced. So, having Olympia saved me. PCL, super important in the Selgor matchup if they don't just one-shot you because they draw super well. Great against laser. Decks that, like I was just saying, like Fright Knight, who just hit you for like 60 active, but poison you or whatever, Toad, whatever. To be able to Pokemon Center Lady heal 60 and then Cellstorm heal another 30, they're gonna not be able to two-shot you at that point a lot of the time. So, great card. Would recommend. Stadiums. This was the hardest part about the deck. There's so many good stadiums in this deck. Tropical Beach is good because you can't attack going first and like you play. That was when I was playing Comp Search, so Tropical Beach was super good. Silent Lab, super good. Fighting Stadium, super good. Parallel City, super good. Magnetic Storm, amazing in certain matchups, right? Like, there are so many good stadiums in this deck, and I'm sure I missed them. Like, you could even play Scorched Earth to draw more. Like, there are so many good stadiums in this deck. I settled for 2 Fighting Stadium, 1 Parallel. I think it was the most solid way to go about it. Fighting Stadiums help you in a wide variety of matchups. Parallel City helps you in a lot of other matchups, and you can get your own Shaman off the board, which can be very, very important. I like the stadiums the way that I ran them, but there's a lot of leeway in how you put your 3 stadiums in the deck. I wouldn't go under 3, though. 3 feels like the right number when Zygarde's attack requires a stadium if you want to use the first one. Tools. This is where it got weird. This is where a lot of the testing went, finding the right combination of tools. I still don't think I have it right. I have 1 Fighting Fury Belt, 1 Floatstone, 2 Focus Sash, 1 Muscle Band. The day before the tournament, I switched the Floatstone to a second Escape Rope and then promptly switched it back. The Floatstone is super good, and 2 Escape Rope was super good, but having the Floatstone, just having that Fruit Retreater is clutch. Now, if you play a Hawlucha, you don't need the Floatstone, but I don't like benching the Hawlucha. I don't use the Hawlucha, and I don't just like having that Pokemon sitting on the bench. So, I had a Floatstone. And the reason why I don't like having it on the bench is this is a pretty chorus-heavy meta for a lot of decks, and just giving them 1 more card can be a big deal. 1 Fighting Fury Belt. This guy having 190 HP going up to 230, pretty disgusting. Focus Sash, not too many things won't hit you. It's really for the Rayquaza matchup when you can't get your Parallel City fast enough, and to keep Carbink alive in a lot of other matchups. 2 felt like the right number with Dowsing. Of course, playing another one would have probably made me today too, but debatable. Muscle Band, just 1. Again, these 2, you know, they're damage boosters. You're probably only going to go through the 2 EXs. You're Dowsing if you need another one. It's fine. Energies, 4 strong, 4 fighting. Feels right. I don't know. I can't say anything. I don't want the 8th fighting over the trainer's mail, and so this just feels like the right number. So that was the deck profile. A quick little rundown of my matchups. Game 1 I played against Volcanion and smashed it. Games 2 and 3 I played against Manectric. Game 2 was a Manectric Gallade. And Game 3 was Manectric Wob. Manectric decks are super easy because you have weakness on them. They didn't play Flash Energy, which if they did I have the Enhance Hammer for. Game 4 was against Rainbow Road. Super close game. Worst matchup by far. Came down to me making a miscalculation on him being able to one-shot a Zygarde with 230 HP. Didn't think it would be so easy, but that deck, pretty good. Pretty good. Wasn't that hard for him. And then it came down to me making a greedy or smart play, and I went with a smart play and got punished for it. If I would have went for the greedy play, it would have worked, and I would have won the game. Unfortunate. He had the right cards at the right time. What can you do? Where was I? That was game 4, sorry. A little bit of salt behind that one. Game 5. What was game 5? I don't remember game 5 super well. Oh, game 5. Oh, I'm sorry. Of course, game 5 was against Yveltal Archeops. Very insanely close game. Insanely close, actually. Actually, probably the best game I had during the day. I just flashbacks about it, honestly. I just want to put it out of my mind because the ending was so incredibly close. It actually came down to him having 7 cards in deck with an end of 4, he needing to draw a Dark Patch, or Dark Patch Muscle Band, and he had 3 Dark Patch, and he drew 4, and the last 3 cards of his deck were Dark Patch. If he would have hit it, he would have knocked me out, and then it would have came like closer. I would have had to like end him down to 1, and then he would have had to not hit the VS Seeker. But honestly, he might have ended up winning the game. I'm not sure. But I ended up winning the game due to insane luck. Game 6, another Rainbow Road. Feels bad. Beat me. Unfortunate. That one wasn't even close. That guy just destroyed me. It's a bad matchup, trust me. Game 7, Speed Darkrai. Super easy matchup. They're weak to fighting. And Giratina comes up and you just go, I'm Carbink. And so you just gonna win. Game 8 was against Mega Gardevoir. Funny enough, Game 1 I Hex Maniac'd him 5 turns in a row and got up 4 prizes. And then Game 2 I ran him out of energies. And then finally, Game 9 was against Mega Groudon. Pretty easy matchup back when I was playing at Nationals. The list that I had then. This list not so great. I took out the 4th Carbink, which was a really big part in that match. I took out the Power Word Memory, which allowed you to one-hit them. I really made this deck's matchup against that a lot worse. I took out Focus Sashes. On top of that, he played a Tool Scrapper and Double Hex. Just not a good matchup at the end of the day for the deck, so unfortunate. I won't be seeing another expanded tournament for a while, so this deck is going to go back up on the shelf. But if for whatever reason you guys have expanded LCs coming up and you want something simple that's actually fun to play, I'd give this one a whirl. It really is just a great deck, and it has amazing matchups across the board against everything except for Rainbow Road. And if anybody has a good idea about how to beat that, besides just putting a bunch of Silent Lab and hoping they don't have a counter stadium, please let me know, because I would love to hear your ideas on it. Just leave a comment below or message me on Facebook. But I really appreciate anybody who made it this far into the video. It ran a little bit longer than I wanted, but I actually really like this deck. I'm passionate about this, so I can talk about this for much longer. But I think I've talked long enough. So thank you for listening to my video. Subscribe. We're close to that 1,000 mark, and Rahul's gonna have to dye his hair pink. Like the video, share some support. Go to our Twitch page, leave a follow there. Go to our Facebook, leave a like there. You know, it all means a lot. I haven't been super active on the YouTube. I've been doing a lot more of the Twitch streams. Expect more to come. But I thought I'd go ahead and share what I played and some of my experiences from Philly. So until next time, thank you for all being part of our gym. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful day.